Hello and welcome to Beyond Sunday, a podcast from Schweitzer Church. I'm your host, Jason Leininger. And in studio today, we are blessed to have Caitlin Yoder and Stephanie Taylor. And they are here to talk with us about Flourish and Schweitzer and their combined efforts in vertical communities around Springfield. So welcome to you both.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for having us.
You can say it with a little more gusto, Caitlin.
We're so excited to be here.
This is your first time.
Yes, it's so exciting.
Yes, awesome. Well, we're glad you're here. Let's start first, Caitlin, with you. What is a vertical community?
Yeah, so a vertical community would be the apartment buildings that Flourish partners with. Specifically, ours are low-income buildings, so they have income maximums maximums would be it, that they can't exceed a certain amount to live there. And they have 41 units. There's youth age and foster care. There's a lot of people on disability or in retirement on tight incomes, and just people leaving hard situations and kind of getting fresh starts there.
Awesome. So Flourish started to engage with the vertical communities at the beginning of this year. Mm-hmm. And one of them actually just opened in the middle of the year. We had a groundbreaking ceremony at it. And so what have been some of the things that you've done already on the Flourish side of connecting with the folks who are living in those communities?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think the main thing or the everyday thing, I have office hours at each building. So I spend some time just available if people need me. Sometimes no one comes to my office hours and I sit alone in the community room. But sometimes I'm surprised because everyone wants to talk to me and I get to know the people. And we get to whatever they want to talk about or share.
Okay. Stephanie, you've been hanging out with Caitlin some.
Yes.
And talk about the reason behind why you're hanging out with Caitlin.
Okay, so I've been spending some time at the apartments. I am still in kids ministry, so I've been alternating weeks. This week I'll spend time at Y Gardens. Last night we spent some time at Nordic Landing. And so I just kind of am building relationship with the people that are living in these vertical communities and trying to bring a spiritual presence to the communities with the eventual hope to plant micro churches within those vertical communities.
That's right. We are hoping for micro church plants to emerge in 2025.
Yes.
Which should be an exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
Caitlin, when you talk about spending time with folks in the communities, do you have an end goal? Do you have a similar kind of hope or thing that you're working on?
Yeah, I think the main thing that I noticed from just spending time there is that the people come home from whatever they're doing and they go inside, or some of them don't have jobs, so they never leave. It's just they stay inside by themselves. They don't have a lot of support system. And if I do talk to one of them, they almost always tell me that they're lonely or that they don't have anyone or whatever it is. And so kind of along with the church planting, just to have like communities of people there where they can lean on each other for support, and they can feel empowered to make changes in their lives, to help them live better and more happier lives, and they don't have to be sad and lonely in their apartments. So
that's awesome. So can you, Caitlin, just briefly describe a couple of events where you've helped bring people out of their apartments and connect with one another?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was happy to be at one of the events you hosted at Y Gardens, which was like donuts. You had donuts from somewhere and you had Starbucks coffee, but you've had a couple other events as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I try to do a monthly event at each building. And so we've had like a cookout over the summer, which that one was really big turnout. We had a good neighbor day in September. So it was just time. Every resident brought a dessert to share. We had so many sweets. We didn't know what to do with them, but it was so fun. And we played bingo, and they had the opportunity to write notes to each other. And I was really surprised because some of the neighbors had stood up and very openly said, like, you guys are the best neighbors I've ever had. Like, thank you. It was so sweet. So sweet. So just, I can see that was my September event, but I mean, I don't think in February anyone would have said that necessarily.
Mhm.
So just by like having them gather and get to know each other, and give them spaces to talk to each other and talk to me and know that people care about them really means a lot.
That's a huge win.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Stephanie, I know that in the last couple of weeks, you and Caitlin have started a Bible study on Tuesday nights,
We had
So-
our second one last night.
Mm-hmm.
and they're looking forward, I know, to your lasagna
Next
bake off.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
talk a little bit about what you're doing in the Bible study and what that looks like.
Okay, so last night, at first we were a little unsure if anyone was going to show up, but then, people showed up a little late, but it ended up being really great. And we had some new people come. I think one lady invited her sister and her niece that they weren't there the previous week. And so last week was the first week. And there were some people who were a little hesitant to share. So it's a women's Bible study. And so we watch a video and then we kind of go into discussion. We share a meal together. And so last week, people were less inclined to share. But last night, everybody shared.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Everybody spoke up
Wow.
and shared. And it was surprising to see where we kind of assumed that maybe they didn't have an area of faith, where most of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And they were willing to share that and share their background and stuff like that.
Wow.
So that was pretty awesome. to
What's the
see.
Bible study looking at?
It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa TerKeurst.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically going through suffering and like this, we weren't meant to live in suffering or go through pain, but that's the life that we live
Yeah.
and how we can kind of cope with that and look beyond that to realize that God is good.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what an amazing place to start.
Mhm.
And that's really amazing that on your second night, people are opening up and sharing both their own journeys about faith, but also the journey that they've had
Struggle.
in
Mhm.
life.
Mm-hmm.
What's a couple of ways that the people of Schweitzer could both pray for you and partner with the work that's happening in that place? Kaylin, we'll start with you.
Yeah. First of all, just prayers that people continue to come out of their apartments and want to hang out with us. It seems really insignificant, but if they don't come out, we can't talk to them and we can't have small groups or other things like that. But then also, as we kind of ramp up for winter and as Stephanie kind of moves full time into this, we're going to have a lot more events and groups and activities. So just whether it's supplies to run those groups or people to help run those groups, those are all great ways to help us.
Okay. Stephanie?
So I intend on having a couple of classes like Alpha and Practicing the Way, possibly Boundaries happening in both those apartments. And so group leaders would be huge, having somebody to mentor and come alongside the people that attend these groups would be great. And then just prayers that like the Spirit is there and present whenever we are together with these people.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you so much. And so if people want to contact you, Caitlin, what's your email address?
Yeah, it's Caitlin at flourishcdc.org.
And Stephanie, how about you?
It's still staylor@schweitzer.church.
There you go. Well, thank you both for being here, Caitlin and Stephanie. Thanks so much for what's happening, for leading things at Vertical Communities. And thank you for sharing your stories with us on Beyond Sunday. To those of you who are watching and to those of you who are listening, thanks so much for tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you on Sunday and Beyond Sunday.